And we are live. Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, happy time zones, wherever you might be. I'm Emma, and welcome back to the House of Hubris, here on twitch.tv/Saracent. And welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante in the times of the fall of the Blessed Archnean Empire. I just love that it has such a long full title, it's such kind of old school flavour. Yeah. If you were here last time, our boy Emilio graduated from the Imperial College, won a fencing tournament, and is now a Noble of the Mantle, working as a judge back home and trying to keep a career while also trying to effect some kind of social change and progress, and possibly also get the family ennobled by the sword, but honestly I'm not as bothered by that. I'd just like the family to not completely fall apart, would be nice. Let's go. Can't remember if there was anything in particular we were aiming for. There probably was. And as ever, if anybody's not been here for this game before, content warnings are many and varied. This game goes to some heavy places, so yeah, expect some serious subjects to be dealt with little warning, because that's what has happened so far. Right. Yeah, why don't we take a look at our goals? Oh yes, because I'd like to get rid of Darius Otten, so if I could build Justice up and either get Protector of the People or Evidence against Otten. Protector of the People is protect the common folk, okay. Evidence against Otten, gather evidence, okay. Yeah, so just be aware for these things when they present themselves. Alright, and to get Gloria adopted, family at peace or secret plot with Gloria. Family at peace, unity at least 7. Don't get anybody killed or embroiled, and then unite the family when you have an opportunity. And mother recovers if unity is ever at least 8. Okay. These seem like things we can do. A gift for the family. This last year has been an ordeal for your family. The pains taken to be ennobled by the sword, the close attention of the city aristocracy, the squabbles between Stefan and Gloria. Tonight, your preoccupied father has gathered the entire family around a table in the backyard. The sun has almost set, and there's a soft breeze. But instead of a meal in the open air, you're going to attend a family meeting. In the middle of the table, you see an open, gilded box. It's full of jewels. Archduke Melanidas himself has bestowed this gift upon us. It's a surprise indeed. Thought you all had a right to know. Father unfolds a letter lying beside the box. Did he get voice... Did we have a voice for Tarquinius? I can't remember. Sir Robert Brante, I bestow this precious box upon you and your family as a symbol of the care with which I treat the people of my province. Pray accept this gift, and remember with whom the loyalty of the true nobles of Magra lies. Archduke of Magra, Tarquinius of Melanidas. Damn it, now I'll never work in WWE. The family stares in amazement at the jewels sparkling in the last rays of sunshine. It's worth quite a fortune, but the Archduke is fully aware that I'm on the side of Prefect Elborn and Overseer Gaius Tempest. Could he really expect our loyalty to be bought so brazenly? On the other hand, the Archduke is not demanding anything of us, and our family has borne a lot of expenses recently. Father, no one is forcing you to side with Melanidas. Who are we in comparison to the Archduke, anyway? We must not anger him by refusing his gift. The jewels are certainly welcome. They're worthy of being shared with the best families of Anizot. They'll pave our way to the nobility of the sword. Mother shakes her head glumly. Oh, Robert, I have a feeling this gift bodes ill. It may be an impertinence on my part, but I do not want our family to be indebted to the Archduke. Certainly not. Accepting gifts from Melanidas. He's infamous for oppressing the commoners and robbing villagers blind with his taxes. This isn't your decision, Gloria. It's a matter of our family's honour and reputation. Please don't start bickering again. Let Emilio says what he thinks we should do with the gift. I always forget Nathan exists when he's off camera for 2 seconds on account of he sucks. You are the centre of attention now. Your vote will be the deciding factor. So we have options. So, because we're diplomatic and have a decent relationship with Stefan, we can give them as gifts for the local nobility, get reputation, diplomacy, and scheming. Could be good. We could decline it, because we have a good relationship with our father, which would get us a whole bunch of unity, more willpower, and valor, which is already maxed out, so... and make our relationship with the Archduke worse, or we sell them, lose 1 unity, gain 2 wealth. I don't want to lose unity. But we could get reputation this way, and our reputation is in the toilet, so I think that's probably the play. You agree with Stefan. A gift from the Archduke is not to be refused. It would be better to use it for a more important goal, obtaining the nobility of the sword, which we're very into all of a sudden. Like, I'm playing this with the idea that we'll be able to eventually change the system. I'm increasingly of the opinion that that won't happen, because that level of change is very difficult to effect on the ground for an individual. And basically, Alexa, play The Ascent of Stan by Ben Folds 5. Because that's the narrative we're following right now. You and Stefan would determine when, how, and to whom the gifts will be given. I'm inclined towards the same solution. Let it be so. I'll send a note to the Archduke expressing our humblest gratitude, but I'll point out that I don't mean to change sides. I'll still serve my prefect, my overseer. Be careful, Father. Melanidas' house is not to be trifled with. The Archduke would have nothing to reproach you with. Emilio and I will put the jewels to good use. You and Stefan spend the next couple of weeks arranging meetings and attending receptions and feasts. You discover that you're on par with your brother in your understanding of the nobility of Anizot, including their relations and their quirks. That just sounds like a sex thing. The generous gifts and the refined manners your brother and you display before the aristocrats allow your family to rise in their esteem. There is but one disadvantage. You don't have a single coin tucked away in the family treasury. We're on like 4 wealth, it's fine. And anyway, our reputation is now modest, and we're nearly an elite diplomat. And given that valor and diplomacy are the judge things, and we've got one at 20 and one at 15, you know, I think we're doing alright. And we're learning to scheme despite ourselves. Power of the law! The law! You've just completed your first year of service at the prefecture. That went quick. Several days after your second year begins, there's a knock at the door. You look up from your paperwork and tell the visitor to come in. Sir Elborn's secretary slips inside quietly. The prefect has an important matter to discuss with you in his office. Augustin Elborn looks weary and aged, but he greets you with his usual characteristic warmth. You take a seat in the comfortable chair across from him. Sir Elborn asks his secretary to pour you and him some wine. Sir Brante, good to see you. I hope the judge's trade is coming easily to you now. I must admit I've been watching your first cases closely. You've already had to resolve a rather difficult land dispute between a commoner and a noble. We'll see even more litigation of this kind in our province in the future. Now, it's time for you to answer an important question. In this great dispute between the two estates, where will you stand as a judge? Take a look around you. Life in the Empire as we know it is changing. It is our duty as nobles and judges to make peace between all the estates on the basis of the law. However, the prefecture faces a great hindrance in pursuit of this goal. Many nobles are still determined to abide only by the traditions of old, especially the Archnians. For those nobles, the only law above them is the court of honor, where noble ranks and jewels decide everything. They reject the jurisdiction of the prefecture and outright defy the newer laws and regulations of the Empire. That's to say nothing of what happens when an Archnean has a dispute with a human commoner. Some Archneans would rather cut a human down then and there than waste time on what they see as pointless litigation. Even though the law says that all the Emperor's subjects have the right to a fair and just trial. One of the most flagrant violators of the law is Dorius Otten, the commander of our province's military. You've encountered him before, haven't you? That Archnean nobleman is a notorious duelist. Anyone who crosses his path risks insulting his honor. His sword has ended the lives of many human nobles, not to mention all the commoners who've been unlucky enough to run afoul of him when he was bored. Surely you realize, Brante, that we are the only ones who can protect these people. The low-born lot forbids a commoner to arm himself, and even those who would rather defy their lot have no chance against Dorius Otten, one of the most skilled Archnean swordmasters. Otten cannot be allowed to commit murder with impunity. We have to stop him and all the others who act as he does. Imperial law must prevail over their barbarous traditions. But, as of now, I have no authority to put Otten on trial. Our province still abides by the old traditions, and humans are powerless against the dynastic power of the Archnean aristocracy. Putting an Archnean on trial for his crimes would be unthinkable at best. We have to work gradually to change this, Brante. I need you as an ally. Incremental progress, everybody's favourite kind. What we have to do is strengthen the power of imperial law in Magra, so that eventually everyone will respect the law, from humble beggars to highborn Archneans. We must show everyone that the law is not a noble instrument of oppression against the common folk. Like the divine law, imperial law must stand above all, with no regard for birth, rank, or title. Sorry, do you want to talk to me about impartiality of government bodies? But hey, let's not digress. This is why I have decided to address you today, Emilio Brante. Side with the law. Side with your father and myself. Side with justice, in every case, always. No matter who stands trial before you, be they lowly commoner or noble elite. With enough precedents, we will put an end to highborn tyranny, and ensure that the law is respected throughout the province. But I must warn you. Even here at the prefecture, I am not all-powerful. Many judges oppose my point of view. Not openly, at least not yet. But I'm certain they will work against us in the shadows. Now, Brante, what is your answer? Are you ready to side with me and change our province for the better? Are you prepared to support me against the high-handed gentry and defend the common folk from the likes of Dorius Otten? So, we make the promise with Augustine, increase our relationship a bunch, or reject it, gets us willpower back, and sours our relationship with... justice. Justice! You nod energetically, determined to support Elborn and bring nobles and Archneans under the rule of imperial law. You realise the risks, but for the future of the Empire and its subjects, you're willing to face them. You seal the promise with a handshake. The prefect leans back in his big chair and points at the glasses full of wine. I never doubted you, Brante. With your potential and youthful zeal, nothing will stop us. And now, toast to the triumph of law in Magra. Your glasses clink melodically. The prefect takes a sip, then puts the glass down to instruct you further. Remember to be cautious. Between the powerful nobles and many other judges of the prefecture, there will be no shortage of enemies on this path. There will be times when I will be unable to help you, is what that says. My own position is too unstable as it is. So please do not draw too much of their ire. Letting their wrath reach you is the last thing I want. Last but not least, we mustn't be hasty. If we move too fast and enforce the law against the nobles too soon, they might take up their swords, as they have before. We have to prevent an uprising and avert bloodshed. At all times, be just, but also wise and alert. I'm glad to see you on the side of justice. I'm counting on you, and you can count on me in return, Emilio Brante. May luck be with you in service to the Empire. You return to your office, your desk covered with endless paperwork as always. At first glance, nothing's changed, but now you realise the great and important cause working quietly behind your daily grind. Deep in thought, you sit at the desk once again. What fate awaits you in service to this cause? We've made the promise. Go us. Gave Elborn a promise to support him in his fight against the tyranny of the nobility. Thought the game was going to glitch again there. An old friend. Night's falling over Anazot. The stifling heat gives way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day at work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a side street that you've known since you were a little boy. It's as if your legs are acting of their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play. The remains of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here with your little friends. Yes, thank you for the hydrate reminder. Engrossed in your memories, at first you fail to notice that you're not alone here. A tall figure in the uniform of a Legion officer approaches you. You see unruly brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It's Thomas. See, our husband turned out hot. Robert Brante equals hydrate. Well, you're a bit late. That was all Augustine was that, which is a lot easier to settle into than Robert. See, I knew we married well. Look at the man. Look at our boy. A delight. Now that's a surprise. Hi, Brante. Fancy running into you the moment I'm back in town. Your childhood friend puts his arms around you. Our battalion got transferred here recently. We're under the command of the Magra Legion now. I'm keeping the peace and maintaining order in my very own province. Well, why don't we catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat. Remember the old days. Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks, and better. His face has become sharper and rougher, and his eyes are filled with exhaustion, rather than their usual mischievous sparkle. I should warn you though, Emilio. I ain't the best company nowadays. I managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could taint your good name. I have other jokes, let's move on. So if you'd rather not be seen with me, well, I understand. The smile on his face starts to fade. We literally don't have the option to walk away, because we would have to, not be a nobleman and not be engaged to this lovely man. Time for dinner. This will hurt our reputation, but gets us a bunch of willpower and maxes out our relationship with our husband. You give Thomas your hand. You shake hands firmly. So you haven't forgotten your old friend, Brante. That's the way it ought to be. Well, come on then. You go to a tavern, reminiscing about your childhood antics on these very streets along the way. You choose a table in the far corner of the tavern. Thomas orders a bottle of good wine and some food. You talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anazot. You share family news, your quest to become nobles of the sword, the quarrels between your elder brother and sister, your mother's health. Thomas nods with concern. Sounds like you've had some tough times. Your family's always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. My pa's always in his workshop, and my ma's always doing chores. But look at me. I came home a service-class nobleman. Well, it doesn't bring me much joy anymore. Thomas is suddenly grim. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and lowers his voice. Well, I'm a captain in the Magran Legion now, and who's our commander? His Excellency Dorius Otten. That's right, I serve under the very same Archnian whose boots I stepped... That's not what that says, but sure. Whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. I mean, they were probably in boots. And you better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things are going to end real bad. But, hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. We impose order in uppity towns and villages, protect the province, that sort of thing. And we run drills all day long, obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of them barracks, Emilio. I thought about starting a family. My ma keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. She says it's high time I got hitched. We're right here! Why can't you see us, sad strings? Okay, have good meeting, and we will try not to alienate our husband. It's completely dark, and you're still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of a nondescript figure following you to the door. As you walk alongside Thomas through your home neighbourhood, you keep glancing over your shoulder, but the shadow that was following you has disappeared. You reach your street and stop for a while in the semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to, all those years ago. Bye, Brante. Hardly ever come to Anazot these days. Our battalion's always on the march all over the province. But, twins willing, we'll see each other again real soon. You know we will. Alexa, play My Heart Will Go On. You advise your friend to safeguard his every life, which, when I read it, I thought was some kind of mistranslation, but no, that is literally just a thing in this setting, isn't it? Everyone has a bunch of lives. Bad for reputation. To the tune of If I Were a Rich Man. I don't know why that happened. But we are full of power. Full power. The newspaper case. Your first year at the prefecture has come to an end. Yeah, didn't that happen a while ago? Like 2 stories ago, anyway. You're not a young student anymore. You know now that a judge's trade means so much more than knowing the law and carrying it out. Resolving a litigation of any importance requires striking a balance between the code of law, high society's opinion, and the whims of the provincial powers that be. Your second year's beginning, and it feels much tougher already. Trampled by the nobles, the commoners seek help, and so they turn to the law. They turn to you, like a flower leading toward the sun. God, everything's lyrics tonight. A carriage takes you through the silver district of Anazot. It's that's not what that says. It's early morning, and you've just received a letter bearing the seal of the city hall. Remy L. Verman, the magistrate of Magra himself, wishes to see you at once. The mere sight of the magistrate's invitation is enough to make you scowl. This is no doubt about your newest case regarding the Quorum Gazette, which may spell trouble for everyone involved. Newspapers spelling trouble? Can't relate. A provincial legislature, the lesser quorum governs the volume and distribution of taxes in Magra. After a new law created by the Emperor's own brother, Cornelius Tempest, several years ago, commoners of considerable wealth were granted representation in the quorum on par with the nobility, thus forming the lesser quorum. Now, the representatives of the lowly estate have founded a newspaper of their own, and this Quorum Gazette, distributed all across Anazot, frequently argues for commoners' rights in provincial governance. The man behind the newspaper is Mayor Egmont, a well-off industrialist and owner of several silver mines, and it was his article and his demands that brought about this litigation. You take out a newspaper and read Egmont's article printed within. It addresses Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest directly. Have we met this man before? There are so many mans. Don't think we have.
We demand that Sir Overseer Gaius Tempest cease his habitual disregard for our meetings. From our Emperor Uther II, we receive the lawful right to assemble and sit in the lesser quorum. We say to the Overseer, our voice must be heard, our message must be accepted.
The carriage stops in a square by a luxurious building. This is the City Hall, where Imperial officials manage all domestic and economic matters of Anazot. You're escorted up a long, winding staircase to the floor of the magistrate's office. You now stand before Remy L. Verman. The magistrate maintains a haughty bearing in spite of his venerable age. His face bears the sharp, proud features so common among the old aristocracy. How does this man sound? There are so many men. Oh, yes.
Why did that happen? Why did that noise come out? No, that's not how he sounds.
I don't know why I looked at him and my brain, well, my mouth at least just went, South African lad. Oi. Oh yes, Sir Judge. You are from the Brante family, I believe. I appreciate your prompt arrival. I'd rather not waste your time and get right down to business. The matter for which I called you here is urgent indeed. You're judging a case against that newspaper by the lesser quorum, are you not? I've had a torrent of complaints against it from the most venerable members of the quorum. They say Mayor Egmont has insulted Gaius Tempest, our overseer, and an Arcanian from the Emperor's own great dynasty. And I say they're absolutely right. The Empire gave those uppity commoners a hand in managing the province's very well-being, which is already a violation of their lowly lot. But no, that wasn't enough for them, it seems. You've earned the mantle only recently, Sir Brante, but you must realise that this is an affront to the honour of the entire nobility. I expect you to do your duty as a judge, and immediately find a pretext for shutting down their pathetic gazette. Elborn, your prefix. Oh my god. Ugh. This just in. Ugh. Don't wake up at 5 AM, kids. Especially if you went to sleep at, like, gone 1. I am not entirely on form at the minute, as you may have gathered. Oh, nor's the stream. Apparently we dropped like 2,000 frames at some point, and I've only been up for half an hour. That's not ideal. Well, keeping an eye on that number. Elborn, your prefect, might think otherwise. However, Sir Brante, if you exercise enough wisdom and cunning, I'm certain you will realise which position is most beneficial to you. With your youth and potential, it will do you good to have powerful friends on your side. I'm sure you will reach the only appropriate and just verdict when closing this case, and I hope you will be duly judicious. For now, farewell. Yes, please leave, because that voice was... Having one of those days, not sure streaming is playing particularly well in my head. We'll see how long we can go. Okay. You return to the prefecture, lost in thought. Sir Vermin is right. Your word is all it would take to shut the lesser quorum newspaper down. As a judge and a nobleman, you do not even need a reason. The people running the Gazette are mere commoners, no matter how wealthy they might be. There was no breach of law, however. Mayor Egmont's article simply requested that the Overseer of Magra hear what the Lesser Quorum has to say. You can reject the nobility's complaint, and thus show the commoners they may rely on the prefecture's justice, but Sir Vermin and many fellow judges will be outraged. Father learns that the case has been assigned to you. He visits you and offers some advice.
You're in quite a predicament now, son. If you try and appease one party, the other will be furious. Wouldn't you rather see if there's any way to make peace between them? You could host a party at our estate, and invite both Mayor Egmont and the noble elders from the quorum. If you're successful at diffusing their quarrel, no one would object if you decide to legitimise the Quorum Gazette. Even our Vermin won't be against it if the nobles stop complaining.
However, Father is not your only visitor of note that day. Shortly after the door closes behind him, the familiar face of Judge Carlo Fockgraben appears in your office. He looks around cautiously before speaking his mind. I hear you've been ordered to deal with a newspaper run by wealthy commoners. It's a complicated case indeed. If you ask me, work like that deserves to be rewarded. Why not make the most of it? You're quite close with Prefect Alborn, are you not? Almost related, as it were. What if you were to shut down the paper and seize their printing press? All it would take is Sir Prefect's signature. And my friends among the quorum nobles, why, they could use a gazette of their own. I would be delighted to help you put that printing press in good hands. Just think of it. You would shut down a subversive periodical and help our esteemed nobles spread their message, all while earning a lucrative reward for your efforts. It's quite a coup, really. Everyone wins. Do think on it, Brante. He leaves, and you're left alone in your office to deliberate. if you decide to shut down the Gazette, how far should you go? And if you choose to legitimize the periodical, how will you go about it? And, oh. So, we can shut down the Gazette, lose justice, gain career, gain relationship with our vermin. We can not do that, gain justice, lose career. We can legitimize the Gazette, which will make us a protector of the people, get us career and justice, cost some willpower and family wealth. Or we can seize the printing press, which will decrease career and justice, but get us wealth and reputation and me scheming and just tank my relationship with Augustine. We don't need this wealth. We probably need this wealth. You spend several days scheduling audiences, exchanging greetings, and presenting invitations to the senior nobles of Anizot. You have to pull all the strings you have and muster all your knowledge of Anizot high society, to say nothing of the family funds you spend throwing a suitable party for such esteemed guests. After much effort, both the nobles and the commoners from the lesser quorum have gathered together at your family estate at last. Mayor Egmont, owner of the Quorum Gazette, has accepted your invitation as well. The nobles are clearly vexed at having to tolerate the commoners' presence, yet they maintain the decorum etiquette demands. You tactfully take advantage of the situation to begin a negotiation. You inform the esteemed gathering that you are the judge handling the case of the Quorum Gazette. In your opinion, a periodical for their legislature is a most useful initiative, but only if the entirety of the lesser quorum shows support for the Quorum Gazette, and only if the Gazette represents the opinions of all its members, including commoners and nobles alike. Newspapers being impartial in their reporting on government bodies. The concept. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, wow, I have all of a sudden started to really feel that whole up at 5 AM thing. Your words are met with a flurry of resentful, shouting, disputing voices. People start to argue. I got that from disputing. Sometime later, the Gazette owner, Mayor Egmont, takes his turn to speak. He looks almost like a nobleman. Egmont is well-groomed and wears expensive clothing only a wealthy industrialist could afford. Nevertheless, his rough manner of speaking and boorish posture betray his humble origins. I know he was just speaking. How did he sound?
I do say there's some truth in what you're saying, Sir Brante. We did begin the Gazette without asking the noble sirs for their opinion. Still, if they let us have our articles printed, I suppose I'll agree to publish their opinions as well. This leads to another fervent debate. Some nobles reject sharing a periodical with the lowborn, while the more obstinate commoners of the quorum insist they already have the right to publish the Gazette on their own. It takes you no small amount of time and negotiation to bring both sides to an agreement. It's settled then. As the owner of the Quorum Gazette, I pronounce it the official and legitimate newsletter of the Lesser Quorum, and the noble sirs are invited to publish their articles on the state of affairs in our province. Industrialists and merchants surround you and shower you with praise as a skillful negotiator. Tonight, you defended more than a newspaper. You stood up for the entire common estate of the province. Father keeps his distance for most of the party, but once matters are settled, he pats you on the shoulder. Excellent work, son. You chose the path of justice, while staying on the good side with the powerful nobility. Even Magistrate Vermouth won't hold this against you. Your career at the prefecture will surely flourish. Let's just hope your notoriety as a protector of the common folk won't harm you in the future.
The night is over. One by one, the esteemed guests leave the Brante estate, the family home you know so well. You never thought the affairs of the entire province would one day be decided within these familiar walls. Justice is out of 7, so now commoners are officially protected. And we're poor. And I have slightly less willpower, but I'm still full of power! Event has happened. The people of Anizot know and praise you as a defender of the common people's rights. Oh, God. One sec. don't know if that helped, but it was something to do. The Call of the Ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family. The day your family line started. The day when you remember all your ancestors. Every single one of them. If my family were there, we'd be in for years. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt and become one with all the people. No, different reference, and keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. Which, like the one of our ancestors we've met, was awful, so... Also, stop flashing at me. Yes, I am the protector of the people I know. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan's been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother's planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it.
Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You're far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother, since you cannot join us, anyway?
Gloria answers in a muffled voice.
As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Greg would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended.
Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze. But at that nation, your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. It's this dick. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. I mean, look at him. I guess that's a fairly standard state of affairs.
I'm not, late, am I?
Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Emilio, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but get grave dust stuck in your throat, you know how it is. But remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb bearing the long decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corner of the room deepen. Oh. Tell you what, before we do whatever ritual we're about to do, I think we're going to take our break a bit early. Because I need to get up and move around, or I will just be falling asleep on stream again, and also just work out how my head feels. So, stick around. More of Brante in a few minutes. And as ever, I need to go and get some water and move around, and you should do the same thing. Drink something, eat something, stand up and move. Give someone a hug if they're cool with that. And if you could let the adverts run, if possible, that would be great. And yeah, I will be back in a few. And I'm back. Sorry about the long wait, everyone. Still not feeling great. I think we're going to finish the story and see how we go. It'd be annoying if we only do like an hour today, but it's what it is. This is what happens when I mess up my meds and all other stuff is going on. Yay. Yes, so shadows in the corners of the room have deepened. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They're pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice. That's not how I've made him sound, echo from the far end of the chamber.
It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I'm in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the Empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where's the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where's the man who will heed my will?
Father rises from his knees and makes his way toward Grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice. Again, not really. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way.
Stop it, Stefan. You're my heir, but you are not the head of this family.
Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He's long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts resonating somewhere within you. Yes, because we've got this weird blood link going on. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you're here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation, presumably with ghost popcorn. We can side with Father. Gets us a better relationship with him, worse with Stefan, costs some willpower, but gets us our family unity up. Support Stefan's superiority, drop unity, gain willpower, gain diplomacy, we're already maxed out with Stefan. Or, we could just be like, hi, it's me. Would cost us some willpower, get us a bunch of valor that we don't need, tank our relationships with our relatives who are alive, and increase the one who is dead. And it should still be negative. That seems like a waste of the willpower, to be honest. It'd be funny. I'll side with Father, because then this will get us to Unity 8, which should make Mum better. You block Stefan's way. Your ponderous voice fills the dark crypt. You demand that your brother step back. The head of your family is your father, Robert Brante, and so it will be as long as he lives. Could your brother have forgotten that it's part of the noble lot to acknowledge and honour seniority? Your father is the man who must hear and accept your ancestors' will. Stefan tries to maintain his composure, but even in the dark, you can see his face twitch. Brother, you don't understand. I'm not defying Father's seniority, but I am the man who bears this duty to our grandfather. I cannot remain a mere witness while the future of our blood tide runs through our fingers. You resolutely push your brother to one side. Whether he wants to or not, he will give way to the head of the family. Father catches his breath and approaches grandfather's tomb. So, it's you, Robert. Have you come to disappoint me yet again? Stefan's right. I've not put my hopes in you for quite some time. If anyone will lead the Brante family to glory, it'll be my grandson. Yeah, but not Stefan. Stefan clenches his fists and whispers something to himself.
I'm doing my utmost, Father. We're closer to becoming nobles of the sword than ever before. The Overseer looks upon us with favour. Just a couple more years, and your dream will come true.
This must be your dream too, Robert. But you still cater to your foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante name. My name. Dead though I may be, my will lives on. Heed it at last. Get rid of that trollop Gloria, and devote yourself to your true family. Otherwise you'll lead our family to shame and ruin.
Father hesitates for a moment.
No, Father. This is impossible. Even if I must defy your will. I'm responsible for Gloria. My honour and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this. Your keep on fighting me for all eternity.
The voice of your deceased ancestor fades away. He seems to have left this realm. But then his voice suddenly booms from the other side of the crypt, or screeches, I guess.
Stefan, you are the heir of this family. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity. Do not take after your spineless father. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness.
Stefan is shivering. He replies in an unsteady voice. But, Gloria, I can't. Stefan checks himself. I will do my duty to the family, Sir Gregor, whatever the price. I will pay it. The crypt is completely silenced once more. Wow, Jesus, yeah, we are dropping frames all over the place. Wow, the gremlins are just conspiring with me having a weird day. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face. Without uttering a word, he goes outside. Father clasps his arms firmly around you. You feel him let out a sigh of sorrow and relief. Vigil is over. So, slightly worse but still very good relationship with Stefan, and maxed out relationship with Dad, and Unity 8, and willpower down to 5. But we're still ready for action. And now at AM 1140. Year 1140, Egmont's speech. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Through a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Magran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law, the concept.
What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't as enforced as they should be? Even today, any Anisot nobleman who gets up on the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Magra. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equal in its eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law.
The Magran aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. They so often do. You hear more and more rumours about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof. At least for now. Father Leonard, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favour.
The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk. But rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the Empire.
Power is officially swinging towards the commoners. Order is dropping even further, and wealth is dropping, which isn't great. But not much we can do about that. Oh, right. Yeah, between how I'm feeling and the... like, frankly, the fact that it's a 4-digit number of frames dropped and we're only just finished with the first hour, suggests we should probably call it a day, which is very annoying, but it is what it is. This just in. Turns out medication has an effect on you. Who knew? Because otherwise I'm just going to pass out on camera, and then when I have another thing to record tonight, it'll be awful. So I'm just going to stop and go and get some air and rest. Because I'm told that's a good thing. Alright. So I think it's wrap-up time. Sorry again. Thank you, Ludavi. I will try and enjoy it. But yes, thank you all for being here. Thanks for staying to the end, such as it is. Still means a lot. If you've been watching this, you know where to find me. But just in case, this is twitch.tv/Serasent. That's SERASENT, the House of Hubris. Nominally streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 2 PM British time. That is 9 AM Eastern, 6 Pacific. Other time zones are available. Do the maths. And hey, if you don't want to do the maths, why not give us a follow and get notified whenever I'm around? Scheduled subject to a bit of change. I will probably be doing, I'm planning to do at least one stream this weekend, because then I will be missing a few, because I have secret projects in the week, and then going away to UK Games Expo at the weekend, so I possibly won't be back until, start of June. But it'll be fine. If you miss me, throw us a follow and you'll know when I am around. If you've missed me, if you miss any videos, VODs are on Twitch for 8 weeks after the fact. For everything else, you can go to the YouTube. Links down there, says something related to the YouTube. Or that's youtube.com/@HouseOfHubris, where you can see everything going back to the very start of the channel, which is 2.5 years of content. Plenty of games there. See what you enjoy. While you're there, why not give us a subscription and get hot, fresh VODs in your subscription feed every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. If you want to support me disappointing my grandfather's ghost monetarily, you can, of course, do so through subscribing or cheering on Twitch. You very much don't have to. Just turn up and hang out and be chill and be good to each other, and then everyone's having a good time. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, the Twitter link is down there, I guess, as well. It says Twitter, which is, a reasonable thing for it to say. Or it's Twitter @HouseOfHubris, where you can find memes and stream notifications, and weirdly, a lot of shouting about politics and the media, and delivering withering clapbacks, because having an interesting time, and those of you who follow me on Twitter or follow the British news may well know why. It's been an interesting time, and I mean, that is almost certainly also contributing to the whole stress and exhaustion thing, so that's fun. Okay. But hey, more on that later, so keep an eye on the Twitter as I announce things. Okay, I think I've babbled for long enough, so I will just say once again, thank you for being here, sorry for the curtailed stream, and I will see you again nominally on Saturday. Alright, love you all, bye. Where's the button? There's the button. Bye.